you in the club?
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Kaylee, and today I'm going to be decorating a pumpkin like a gumball machine. For this project, you'll need a pumpkin, a terracotta pot and the base, acrylic paint in all colors, and some foam brushes, one round and two in a regular shape. So to get started, you want to make sure that your pumpkin is nice and clean and dry, and I went ahead and sprayed mine with a little bit of alcohol and a paper towel. And now I'm going to be using this foam brush and some white acrylic paint to paint my pumpkin. So while my pumpkin is drying, I'm going to go ahead and paint my terracotta pot and the lid. And you want to turn it upside down because we only need the outside to be painted red. And now that my terracotta pot is completely dry, I am going to add another layer of Mod Podge just to make it nice and shiny. So while that glaze is drying, I'm going to start working on the gumballs. So I'm just using this foam stamper or paintbrush, and it's just a round one, and I only have one of these, so I'm going to have to take turns, but I'll start off with pink. And make sure my whole stamper is painted. Okay, so there's one gumball, and I'm going to go ahead and do a few pink ones before moving on to the next color. Now eventually you're going to have to cut off the stem, but I'm leaving it because it gives me a nice handle to work with while I'm painting. I'm just using the foam brush to go ahead and fill in any white spots. You could come back and do that with a paintbrush too. And as you can see, I messed up a little bit on this one, but it's okay because once this first layer dries, I'm going to come back and do even more gumballs, and they are all going to kind of overlap each other. So I'll just make sure to use like a red or an orange or a darker color than pink and overlap with that one. I added a little bit of white to this same pink color so I could get more of a bubblegum pink. Looking pretty good so far. I'm going to add some blue. And the technique I like to use is just stamp it on. And you can see how it doesn't really work sometimes. So just press it in really, really good. And then come back with a little paintbrush and just spread out the paint. Now that some of my circles are dry, I'm going to start overlapping them. So like with this pink one right here that's a little bit faded out on the edges, I'm just going to paint that one with an orange gumball. And then use my paintbrush to kind of fill it in. And I like the paintbrush too because it makes more even strokes. and the sponge by itself just makes everything kind of bubbly. But it's a good way to get a circle because I definitely am not very good at painting circles by myself. So now that I've got my pumpkin covered in gumballs just the way I want it, I'm going to come back in with this really tiny paintbrush and some white paint, and I'm just going to draw a reflection on my gumballs to make them look a little bit more realistic. And they don't all have to be in the same place. I'm going to leave some without reflection to make it look more realistic. And now I'm going to put together my gumball machine. And before we can put it together, you want to remove the pumpkin stem. So this is one part where you probably want a parent to help you. So the next thing I did is to tape out a square on my pot. And I'm going to paint this area with gray. The good thing about painting terracotta is that it dries really quickly, but it also absorbs a lot of paint, so I know I'm probably going to have to paint this 2 or 3 times. And while that first coat of gray paint is drying, I actually found this bottle cap, and I'm going to glue this onto the top of my top, because that's going to be the area that looks like where you put the gumballs in. So I'm going to put this on here with a glue gun. Be careful if you use a metal bottle cap like this, because it is going to conduct the heat and you're going to feel how hot that hot glue is if you use that. So you might want to use a different kind of glue. So it turns out the stem was actually not hard to remove at all. I just made a small cut in the side and then I broke it off. And if you can find another bottle cap or just cut out a circular piece of paper, you can use this as the place where you put your coins in the gumball machine. So on this one, I'm going to take this permanent marker and just write 25 cents. Okay, now that my gray paint is pretty much dry, I'm going to draw the area where the gumball comes out, so this little door. So I'm just going to draw a straight black line on both sides, and then one across the top connecting them. Okay, and then now that I have my little lines, I'm going to come back in and paint this area black. Uh-oh. So after painting this, I realized that I probably should have waited before putting on the Mod Podge to paint on some extra layers. So the paint just kind of peeled right off and it didn't stick. And so rather than paint over that, I'm actually going to use some black duct tape and then cut it out in the exact shape that I want. And that way it'll cover this mess up and I can get the shape that I want, which is more of like a trapezoid kind of. But if you didn't put Mod Podge on your pot, then you're good to go. There, that's better. Alright guys, and this is what it looks like when it's all put together. Now, I think it turned out really cute, but there's one thing I would do differently if I were going to make this again, and that is to get a smaller terracotta pot base. I didn't have my pumpkin when I bought this, so if I had known that it was going to look so big on top of it, then I would have gotten a smaller one, but I think it turned out pretty cute. And let me know in the comments what you think. Do you want to see more videos about pumpkin decorating? If so, click on the thumbs up. This is Kaylee for DCTC, and thanks for watching!